I am so proud of my city of St. Paul because yesterday morning there were over 500 people gathered in a room up on the north end to support and celebrate the St. Paul School Foundation. Mike Anderson is here with us today, an organization dedicated to making sure that every one of our children has a mentor and a tutor to help them, to guide them, to teach them how to read, to make sure that they're on track, so that they don't get to the point when they're 17 years old and drifting, but when they're 7 years old, they have someone that will help lead them in the right path, in the right direction. And today we gather to say, you know what, for those children that we haven't reached, for those children that haven't gotten where they need to go, that don't have the direction in their life by the time they're 17 or 20 or 27, that we're still there for them, that we still have support for them, that we understand that just because they haven't gotten where they need to be by the time they're 22 doesn't mean they will never get there. I loved the analogy of the traffic jam, because that's exactly what this is about. But we've all been in that traffic jam. And we know that if it's a little too hard to get someplace, a lot of the decision of whether we're going to keep on going is kind of what we see on the other end of that. So if it's the Wild game tonight, I don't care hell or high water, I'm going to get there. I got to go down to Mankato at 5 o'clock tonight, but I'm going to be back in time for the Wild game. I don't care if there's construction on 169 or not. I'm going to figure out a way to get there. On the other hand, if I was coming back for dinner at my brother-in-law's, I might decide that it's not worth fighting. The fact of the matter is, we have to make sure that our children, all of our young men, but particularly our young men of color, understand what is on the other side of that traffic jam. Understand that it is worth the hassles. Understand that sometimes those detours are okay because you're still going to get there. But they haven't seen that yet. They haven't seen why it's worth getting there. Because all their life they've been told, you know what, for you, there's nothing there. On average, the children in this community are doing very well. They're doing extremely well. But on average, the 4 men in your picture were billionaires. On average, Shawn, you have what, $10 billion with that, in that group? Averages don't work. Averages aren't enough. It is about making sure that every single one of our children, when they are in the room by themselves, they have what they need. So for all of you that are here today to support Ujamaa, for those of you that are in the trenches, for those of you that are out mentoring yourself for our young men, I say thank you. I was in that room when the president launched My Brother's Keeper initiative. And we as a community, and along with my colleague over in Minneapolis, Mayor Hodges, have said that the Twin Cities, because now, we used to be to hell with Minneapolis, we're St. Paul. But now we're working together, we're regionalists. So we want them to come together and look at our region and see what we're doing here, to understand that every child in this region, every young man of color has the resources that they need. But what we realize that as we're talking about being a My Brother's Keeper community, it isn't about creating something new. It isn't about saying we're going to bring this Calvary that you talked about that isn't coming anyways down here. It is about lifting organizations like Ujamaa up. It is about taking what is already there and making sure that we connect our young men to it. And so when we support this organization, we're lifting up what we already have in this community. We're taking the lives of those 200 men that have already completed Ujamaa and giving them more resources, more tools, more help. And that's what this community does better than any other community that I have ever seen. Folks, we can't wait. We can't lose another generation of young men. We can't afford to do it. This is the morally right thing to do. We know that. But when you talk to a business owner and says, where is my future workforce going to come from? Who's going to be the next CEO? Who's going to be the next mayor, the next police chief, the next sheriff? We have to lift our men up because we can't afford to lose them anymore. The urgency of now exists here in this room. And I want to thank you for understanding that. I want to thank you for supporting it. I want to thank you for going out there and fighting on behalf of our young men. Shawn, you will come back here and study this community and let us show you what we're capable of, because I truly believe that there is no place in this world, no place in this country that is more poised, more ready to meet the challenges that our young men of color face, to lift them up, to give them the resources, the hope, the dream, to help them to see what's on the other side of that barrier, to help them to see that it is worth going through that construction zone, to get them to their destination because they understand that that destination is worth the hassle of getting there. Law school is not easy. Medical school is not easy. Business school is not easy. We get there, we do those things, we go through that because we understand that there's a destination on the other side that's worth getting to. Let's make sure that all of our men, all of our children understand that. Show them the vision, let's help them get there. Thank you for your support.